There's probably a way to plug headphones into that, Andre. If you want to hear what's going on.
Or just play it silent and then imagine like a little ragtime piano in the background.
While he's like shooting people.
Bam, 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 ba-da-da-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da-da.
Honestly, I think it would be very funny if there was a shooter game that like was very serious, like very like, you know, Call of Duty, but like then the soundtrack was just this total tonal juxtaposition. Mm-hmm. Whether it's like, you know, old-timey ragtime piano or like really uppity J-pop or like just something to
J-pop.
like
Ragtime to J-pop. That was a transition.
Well,
All it's existing to do is be jarring.
right.
So it doesn't matter
Like,
what manner of jarring.
Some kind of jarring, some flavor of jarring, whether it's jam jarring or pickle jarring, one jarring or another.
Yeah. I think maybe not to be jarring, but I think we've talked about it before, like that mouse shooter or whatever that.
Oh,
not Mouse Detective.
it's called Mouse.
Yeah, Mouse.
It's like a
rubber hose, old 1930s like Disney style animation shooter.
but it's like a boomer shooter. It's very
Yeah.
Doom inspired.
Yeah, with like 2D assets and stuff like that.
Yeah. It caught my eye, and it's like on my Steam wish list just because it's distinctive.
I don't think it's released yet.
No, it's still in like, I don't even think it's like early access or anything. It's just being developed currently. Mm-hmm. But it looks distinctive and has personality and character and is like different.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what you go to indie games for, honestly.
Yeah. One game I discovered today for $2 on Steam was Commando, the arcade like bullet hell thing, which
By
I played
Capcom.
on mini. Yeah, I played on minigames.com or miniclip.com like 15 years ago, and
Completely
I was like,
legally.
oh, for sure. Well, Miniclip was, it was like a public site, and
Doesn't mean it got there legally.
that's true. But home of Club Penguin, as well as a few other things.
And a really interesting Flash game called The Company of Myself.
And all the viruses you could possibly imagine.
Oh,
yes.
course.
Because that was the time. But I did play that a fair bit. And so I was like, you know what? I haven't fired it up yet. But I was like, just for old time's sake.
And they have
Here's a legitimate copy of the game.
and they have Commando on Steam.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't aware of that.
It must
I
be
thought
new.
it was just
It's funny though because you go to like the store page and all like the titles in Japanese.
Oh, sure.
But yeah.
I would have figured that'd be a GOG title.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of the whole thing, is that they're good old
Yeah.
games.
It's like the winter sale, so I just grabbed it. And
GOG also has the winter sale, because they couldn't compete with Steam if they didn't.
yeah, that's true. Oh, the time has come and gone, but the Skywalker Saga was free on Epic Games for a bit.
Did I grab it for free on Epic Games? I don't know if I did. I forgot.
I did,
Maybe I did.
even though we already
I know I didn't download
even
it
though we
because I
already
only
played
got
it
so much space
on
on there.
on your Switch copy, but
You can still mod it.
yeah, that's true.
There's probably mods in there.
I also grabbed, because it was like $2, like the very, very cheap stuff. Like I've already bought most of the stuff on sale on Steam over the years that I want to play, so there's just a handful of games. The prequel game for the Arkham series.
Arkham Origins.
Yeah.
I like that game.
Yeah. I'll have to-
Nice game.
'cause I
It's
played-
definitely different than the
Yeah.
other Arkham titles, but it's still a fun time.
I played the other 3 games, so I figure I think Arkham Knight was one of the first games I've like 100%ed. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed that. And then there was like one other game I got for like really cheap, but yeah, so that was my winter sale.
Dark Souls. Dark Souls.
I honestly
You saw me fighting the Valkyries in God of War, okay? You know how that's gonna go down.
You have training for Dark Souls now.
I guess so.
You've experienced some of that kind of combat.
Yeah.
So like if you can live through that, and
I think that Dark Souls 1 is old and janky enough that it is probably going to be an easier time than God of War.
Could be.
once you get into.
I did really enjoy God of War. I just found the combat very frustrating at times. Like, very fun and satisfying most of the time, and then the boss fights are just like, "Urgh."
I was just curious what's on sale current. I haven't really looked at the Steam Winter
I think
sale
it
for
only
me.
just started.
Sure.
Yeah, I think it just started today.
Yeah.
I may pick up Dead of Boy on PC.
Yeah. Yeah.
It would be good. Then we can talk
Then we
about
can
it
talk
and all
about
have
that.
a perspective on it because
Because you're still working your way through I Survived Falling Over, right?
I just started that before Advent, and I started a media
Media
fast for
fast.
Advent,
Yeah, that's right.
and so I have had very little time to make
Well, the good
headway.
news is between Advent and Lent, you have like almost all of, well, you have all of January and February because I think Lent starts like the first week of March.
Mm.
So you got some time. Okay, that is running.
Yeah,
I
I
remember the
saw it.
timer. Well, episode 150 of the Palladian Papist podcast, ladies and gentlemen, and we totally
After
planned
all
this.
these years.
And we totally planned this. We're not going to the topic right now, but this is our Christmas special. Woohoo! Did we do one last year?
We did-
No, I don't
No,
think
last
so.
year we did the comparison contrast between
It's a
Wonderful
Wonderful
Life
Life.
and
We
Scrooge,
did. Okay.
Christmas Carol.
I guess that was more or less our.
it was
Yeah.
it was the Christmas episode. We
Yeah,
did.
it was the Christmas episode. Yeah, I feel like we've been pretty consistent about that.
I don't know. We did the
We
one
must
first
have
Christmas
missed
episode.
one, I think.
Must have.
I don't know if we've done like Christmas specific topics every year.
Yeah, I know we had a couple of Christmas episodes featuring the Fishers.
The one was kind of a retrospective plus
Mhm.
Christmas episode, the first one.
Oh,
Yeah,
was
just
that
about
was that
like the
100?
Christmas,
That was
Christmas
50, I
movies in
think.
Oh no,
general.
50 was Undertale.
Yeah, the game.
Well, whatever, it was around that
Yeah.
time frame. We did a Christmas episode that was...
It's probably in the backlog, which are still uploading, I think.
Mm.
I bought myself quite a bit of time the last time I went through and edited those. But yeah, no. And we're going on 5 years of the Palladian Papist, if you can believe it.
Mm.
So I guess that means we're averaging roughly
30 per year?
50 per year. Or no, 30
Oh,
per year.
30 per year. Yes. 5.
Which
150
front-loaded
divided by
mostly
five.
into the first 3 years. And
Yeah,
then-
the
Really, the first two.
yeah.
Because the third year
is when you
was
went
when
to
I was
seminary.
in propedeutic year and
That made
largely
things difficult.
unavailable.
Yeah.
and then this
There-
last year's just been stuff.
Hmm. To quote my mom, you guys aren't still doing that silly podcast. Sorry. I'm like, Mom, it's been almost 5 years. And she was like, oh no. So our Nathan and my mothers have widely different views of the podcast.
Rip Stitcher.
Yeah. Sorry. We're sorry. We had to do it to him.
Even though we had
Someday.
nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Oh, we had nothing to do with the death of Stitcher whatsoever.
Mm-mm.
No,
Nope.
no. If we did, which we certainly don't.
Yeah. But if we did, which we don't, yeah, no, gosh, I don't think we've recorded since October.
It has been a hot minute.
it has cold minute. It's winter now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or no.
well
did
and
we-
truly.
Did we do any? in
It was like a
October?
month, I think.
Yeah, roughly a month. Just because life,
Life finds a way.
Yeah.
To have lots of stuff going on.
Yes.
But things have kind of, strangely enough, right before Christmas as we're recording this.
This is a calm before the storm.
Yeah, quite literally. I
Well,
think,
yeah, there's a lot of weather coming our way, but it's also
Yeah.
like
Per the time of
stuff
year.
is gonna happen next week because it's just almost Christmas.
Yeah.
This is probably coming out at I don't know when you're.
Like,
it'll come out when it comes out, and this will be relevant
I'll
when
shoot
it's relevant.
to release it probably like the day before Christmas Eve or something.
Okay.
Some
Christmas
Monday.
Eve.
Yeah, Christmas Eve's Eve. So where does that put us today? So, okay, so it's Christmas Eve. Today is Friday. So
Don't-
that is Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Eve.
Yeah, Eve. So it's the eve of Christmas Eve is where we're at now. My sister and I used to do this a ton.
Just
growing up.
start the day after Christmas. How many Eves is?
Yeah.
it's
Eve,
Christmas with 364 Eves,
Mm-hmm.
depending on whether or not it's a leap year.
After all, it's only 5 more sleeps till Christmas. Or no, 4? Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday,
If you
Tuesdays. That's 5, yeah. 5 sleeps
I bet you would. You could do it in fewer if you really pushed
if
yourself.
you really wanted to. Yeah.
It wouldn't be good for your mental or physical health, but you
No.
could.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
No. That would suck. Just in general. But yeah, no, 150 episodes. We were thinking, we got to do something special for 150. And then we're like, well, it's Christmas time, so Christmas it is. That's not something special for 150.
Yes. Our special 150th episode only comes once, and so we do
maybe
something that
10
shows
years
up every year.
Maybe 10 years. Nice. maybe 10 years from now, when we're doing episode 200, we can do a much more special retrospective or something like that.
Or just another Christmas episode.
Yeah.
We just only do
Which will be like
Christmas.
3 years from now.
Yeah, we just are a Christmas podcast from here on out. We do one episode in December every year.
The concept of a Christmas podcast is that, do you just talk about Christmas the whole year, or do you only record in the wintertime?
Oh yeah, that's
Like,
true.
how do you do this? Do you keep Christmas going the whole year? Keep the spirit of Christmas? Like, I'm imagining like Santa and a couple of elves, Joe Rogan style, around the desk, just licking candy canes and talking about toy manufacturing and.
Buddy, roll the clip. Although that won't be our we won't. I forgot we won't be just a Christmas podcast because we have a special project.
Oh,
that
yes,
John
we
is-
will certainly. at
John is
least-
going to be very excited.
Oh,
will.
very excited.
Very excited.
Like, we have plans for this. We're cooking something. Let us cook for a bit. It'll
Yep.
be great.
We've been putting this off for a long time, so
Yeah.
stay tuned. But yeah, on that, so we won't just be a Christmas podcast, but I do. I'll be honest though, I haven't really listened to any Christmas music since I was at my parents' house for Thanksgiving, and that's not really it's sort of a conscious choice, but also not really. I think it's just as I've gotten older, I listen to so much Christmas, basically all the way from growing up, day after Thanksgiving to Epiphany, we would just have Christmas music on constantly. So I think I've just sort of I like Christmas music. I did sing at a Christmas concert for our parish recently.
I mean, hymns on Sunday is
Advent
different
concert,
from
I should say.
listening to Christmas music.
yeah,
You know. I only ever have. There's the one radio station that does all the Christmas stuff between Thanksgiving and Christmas.
right.
Although it stops after the actual Christmas season starts, which is the days after Christmas, but that's this other thing. But I only listen to that when I get annoyed and depressed about news.
Yeah,
Because usually it's I have a commute to work, so I commute to work, and I'm well, I may as well be semi-informed, even if it's coming from, I know what their biases are, so I can at least filter
Right.
that.
yeah.
See-
There's likely something in there that's more. Or
There's
less,
information.
yeah.
At the very least, I know when
It's something to keep you awake at 5 a.m.
yes. And hey, sometimes I'm hey, go this state because they're complaining about it for all the right reasons. Let's go.
It's all about the Mets, baby.
Let's go, man.
There was we were watching a football game last night, and there was a guy on one of the teams named Fisk, and I forgot to make the joke. It's not about the Broncos Spider-Man. Or no.
Not
about
about
the
the money
Chargers.
Chargers.
It's not about the Chargers Spider. Or no, it's not about the money Spider-Man. It's about the Chargers, baby. Love the Chargers. Love the Chargers.
Let's go, baby. Get a touchdown. Let's go. Let's go, Chargers.
Although apparently for the Mets, it is all about the money, because they apparently signed this player, Juan Soto, I think, to a 15 years, $765 million contract, which is the largest contract ever in professional sports.
It's about the money and the Mets.
And it's about the money and the Mets, yeah. So eat that, Wilson Fisk. You fictional big boy, you.
Fictional New Yorker stereotype you.
Yeah. That's just what people look like in New York. They're just
Just blocked.
towering blocks of men, all wearing suits with their big meaty hands.
For as ridiculous as he looks, I love that character design.
Yeah.
It is iconic for good reason. It's such a great. His silhouette is literally a square, but it works for it.
Yeah.
That's
It
not
just
the movie we're
exudes
talking about
power.
though. But yeah, exactly. he takes up the whole room when he
When
steps
did that
into
movie come out now? Was that 2018?
it. 18 sounds
That's crazy.
approximately correct, which is
Did that
insane.
come out
I think it was late 2018. Yeah.
6
Yeah.
years ago? Holy cats.
I was still working at Newman, and we had the first.
And
of
the second movie
campus
only came out
ministers.
last year.
Not last year. It was the
Yeah,
year
it was.
before last.
Was it?
It was like
No, the second movie?
that was.
Oh,
what
we were
was
at
it?
our apartment when we went to watch it, I remember. And we only lived there
Okay,
for a
so
year.
it would have been 23.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to say it was early 23.
Yeah.
Okay, but it must have been. Oh, it was like January, February 23.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
Something like that.
Jamie, pull that up.
Misremembering which movie we went to watch together.
We go to watch, like, whenever we watch a movie, it's because we will go to watch a movie.
That's usually how that works.
You
yeah.
know, it's like I've gone to more movies without you this year than I have, like, in several years for
Was it Beyond
for
the
several years
Spider-Verse?
now. It was Across, not Beyond. Beyond
Beyond
is still
the
in the
third one.
works.
That's okay.
Well, speaking of watching movies, because we want to watch movies,
We're the Palladian Papists. I'm James.
I'm Nathan.
and I'm Riley.
2023. I was 2023.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, we're doing a special Christmas Philmosophical. If I feel like it, I might put for you audio listeners little jingle bells in the Philmosophical. Not even bother to sync it. I'm just gonna throw them in there. We're doing a Christmas Philmosophical on the 2019 animated film Klaus, or Klaus, or however they say Klaus in the movie. So we're just gonna roll with that. And just kind of do a deep dive on Santa Claus movies in general. Well, not deep dive. We'll
A broad dive.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about this
we're gonna
specific
do a
movie.
belly flop on Santa Claus.
A bowl full of jelly flop.
Yeah. We're gonna go catatonic after this attempt and drift lifelessly around the pool as people freak out and call for the lifeguard. Hallucinating in our blind stupor, breathlessly atop the pool waves about Santa Claus.
Muttering
About-
incoherent ramblings about
Yes.
Santa Claus.
And visions of sugar plums dance in our heads. I've never seen a sugar plum in real life. I don't know what I'm looking at, man.
Yeah, he's seeing sugar plums. It's getting bad. Get him out of there. Right. Well,
Anyway,
so yeah.
Klaus.
It was, I think Netflix produced it.
Netflix produced it.
Yeah.
I forget,
I don't remember the name of the studio, but
yeah.
it's not. It's let's see. Jason Schwartzman is the postman. So you have the postman.
Jesper.
Jesper. So he is currently going to the Royal Postman Academy.
His dad is like the head postmaster.
yeah.
So he's living the rich kid life, all cushy, not really getting pushed very hard in training, getting away with stuff.
He's getting pushed as hard as everyone else. He's just pushing back by not doing anything
Being
because he doesn't
spoiled
care.
and- yeah.
And so he's just like, I'm going to flunk out on purpose so that my dad can just, I don't have to work and coast on my dad's money. And his
plot
dad's like,
twist,
no.
his dad sends him to the Shadow Realm.
You're going to the Shadow Realm, Jesper.
Yeah, he sends him to a remote little cold frozen north island called Smearensburg. So
He's like, you don't want to try? Well, guess what?
You
There's-
have
no
to-
choice but to try or I'll cut you off.
Yep. So like you have to send or you have to deliver 6,000 letters or something like that by the end of the year, and if you don't, you're cut off. And the father's just trying to get him to become more responsible and care about what happens in his life because he wasn't about to let him flunk out of the post office academy on purpose, which is funny that it's like a pseudo military thing.
Mm-hmm.
So he gets Norm Macdonald ships him up to Smearensburg, and it's a very cold, foggy, strangely quiet place. Where is everybody? Everything's all disheveled. And so
the children are staring menacingly,
Oh, they make snowmen.
Yep.
Give-
So
maintaining eye contact while
while
they stick
stabbing
it
with the carrots,
into the
the
snowman.
carrots are not being inserted into the snowman in the usual way. They're like as if
Stabbing
multiple knives are stabbing this thing. It's very ominous. And so the ferry guy, Norm Macdonald, tells him, "Oh yeah, no, ring that bell in the middle of town there. It'll
get you a good
have
welcome party.
a welcome reception." Yeah, I forgot about the reception. Go ring that bell. It's got like basically like a noose hanging off of it. So he rings the bell, and from each side of the town, a group of gingers and a group of goths attack each other. Just like I don't know, the local probably like a view of the theaters in Ireland when Wednesday came out. Or no, that was a TV series. Anyway,
Just imagine the entire town is a Waffle House waiting to burst.
yes. Yeah. I think
A
that needs
Waffle House without all the waffles.
I think that needs to go on the marker board upstairs. That's good. Oh man. But yeah, no. So there's these apparently two clans in the town that historically for generations there's just been in a feud for since the dawn of time.
And nobody thought to move away. They got to stay in the same town and just
'cause
hate
you
each
can't-
other
you
across
can't
the
back
street.
down. So that bell was the battle bell, which calls them to fight a battle, and so Jesper kind of sneaks away from the chaos and lands in the schoolhouse, in which
Turned
there's-
fish shop.
Turned fish shop
Because turns out nobody wants to send their kids to school because they might be mingling with the other family, and that we can't have that.
yeah, and the teacher is kind of a formerly starry-eyed teaching school graduate who is stuck here in this miserable town, saving up whatever pennies she can to start a new life somewhere else. Because she took the job thinking she could change lives and educate children, and instead she's stuck here.
Instead, she got sent to the Shadow Realm, which is also a Waffle House.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The Waffle Realm.
Yeah.
You're going to the,
You're
Waffle
going to the
Jesper.
Waffle Round. That's the title right there.
You go to the Waffle.
You're going to the Waffle Realm, Jesper. Yep. I've got the thumbnail already in my brain.
Anyway, so he meets the school teacher,
and then he
who's-
gets brought to his quarters / the post office, and it's all very dilapidated, falling apart, disrepair.
the little
because it
boxes where
turns
the
out-
mails get sorted into is like just being used as a
Full
chicken
of
coop.
chickens. And
Look at all
so
those
it
chickens.
turns out that these people aren't really interested in sending messages to each other that aren't some sort of projectile or weapon. So it's been very difficult for the post office to keep a post office, or for the postal service to keep a post office going there. So Jesper tries unsuccessfully to get people to send any sort of mail whatsoever. He can't really be heard over the sound of clan warfare. So the boatman, being the consistent troll that he is, Norm Macdonald tells him to go visit the woodsman. I'm sure he has something to send up there. He loves visitors.
He's a
Before
nice
that-
guy.
Yeah.
Before that, he did try and like scam a kid into mailing himself the
Because he
picture
like a
he
picture
dropped,
he dropped
'Cause,
outside
like,
of his window or
yeah.
something.
which is important for before he goes to the woodsman's house.
Yeah, so he goes to the woodsman's house. It doesn't seem like anybody's home, so he starts poking around in there and seeing what's going on. It's all dark and full of these intricately crafted toys and knickknacks and things like that. And he's like, what the heck's going on here? Then the woodsman returns, and he freaks out and runs away and leaves behind the drawing that he had tried to get the kid to mail. And so the woodsman looks at the picture, and it's a picture the kid drew of himself in like the upper level of the house, looking very sad.
In a barred window.
Yep, in a barred window. So that night, the woodsman shows up at the postman's house and is like, "You're a postman, aren't you? Can you deliver this?" And very menacingly gets
Like,
him.
where is this?
Yeah.
Take me there.
Yep. So Woodsman's a big boy. So he and Jesper's convinced he's going to kill him. So he goes there, and Jesper, through some hijinks, ends up falling down the chimney and depositing the package and leaving before the guy's dogs can tear him apart. And the kid discovers the package and opens it up, and there's a little wind-up toy frog that gives the kid lots of joy. And so Jesper realizes, oh, this big, gruff woodsman guy, he's got kind of a softer side. He liked bringing joy to that kid. Huh.
And then, like Also,
with barely a word, like the woodsman goes back home.
alongside the toy, the kid also discovers his picture that he had left with the mailman.
He's like, "Oh, the mailman brought him my picture."
And so he starts telling his friends, "Hey, Mr. Klaus up on the hill. If you send him a letter, he will bring you a toy."
Mm-hmm.
And Jesper hears this and is like, "I smell a scheme."
Mm-hmm.
And so he's like, "Yes, children, if you write your letters and stamp them with postage." And
he's about ready to like run away and go home, and it's like, cut off is better than dead, because he's still convinced the woodsman's going to kill him. And the kids all show up at his post office with letters and pennies for postage stamps, and he's like, So he starts delivering all these letters to Klaus. And through some mystical intervention, Klaus agrees to, deliver more toys to kids from these letters with Jesper. He's got an inkling that something might be up.
But this goes on for a while.
And gradually Jesper and Klaus get to know each other better.
And then also, like, the kids get toys, and they begin to share their toys, which brings the adults and the families together.
Jesper's had this one kid picking on him, throwing snowballs. He's like, he sees you when you're sleeping, he knows when you're awake, he knows if you've been bad or good. He's got a naughty list, all that stuff. And so this gets the kids to be like, I don't want to be on the naughty list. So they start doing all these kind deeds and helping each other out and being friends with the warring clans kids, which spreads to the adults who put down their knives and guns and stuff and start like helping each other with stuff and making, fruit
becoming a
for
community.
They start becoming a community.
And this ticks off the elders of both clans, who are like, "You are playing with the other side of the fence."
They were very upset because
In order to avoid this terrible outcome of everyone getting along, we have to call a truce.
Yep.
So that we can continue fighting.
So we're gonna stop fighting for now to take care of a common enemy.
So that
then
we
the
can
war's
keep
back
fighting.
on.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they want to put a stop to Klaus and Jesper's spreading of goodwill.
Another side effect of this whole scheme is that some kids are like, "I want to write a letter to Mr. Klaus, but I can't write." And he's like, "Well, I have just the place for you."
So they all show up at the school one day, and she's like,
Get out of here.
stay out of the way. But eventually she can't help herself. Her teaching instinct takes over, and then she starts using her savings to make her schoolhouse into a proper schoolhouse.
And buy them
starts teaching the
materials
kids-
and stuff. And
starts teaching the kids how to write, and starts to love her job again. So over time, there's such a high demand for Klaus's stuff, and he's run out of the toys that he had in storage. And so Jesper, not wanting the partially seeing how happy
he's
the
like
kids
at this
are.
transitional point in his arc where he's like, partly it's like, I have a scheme I want to commit so I can leave here, but also like he's kind of invested and kind of
He's
cares,
seeing the kids,
but he
are
won't
happy.
admit it to himself because he's still like mentally invested in the scheme. But he's like, so why don't you just make more toys?
Nope, not doing it anymore. Go away. And he kind of touches a nerve with Klaus, who comes back around. He's like, okay, so here's my backstory. My wife and I lived up here in the woods. We were deeply in love, and we wanted to have a big family, but we were never able to have kids. And eventually my wife passed away. Sometimes I can still feel her presence, which was, represented in the movie by like this blowing snow pointing out Jesper to him when he came to his door. And Blue, like the kids drawing to him. So he's like, I think, and she had this quote, one sincere
act of
one
goodwill.
selfless act always sparks another. So this idea that, when you perform an act, in charity and goodwill, that it will inspire others to do the same. And that's very much what's happening in Smearensburg. So Klaus agrees, and then Jesper comes up with this idea, like, to make things more manageable, what if we, the demand is so high, we're getting letters from not just Smearensburg, but all over. What if we, to handle the volume, just do it once a year on Christmas?
Also, partly to do a final push to get his letters all the way up because it's the end of the year.
Yep.
But so they They get some help from a nearby village that was a connection through one other little girl who wanted a sled. That
It
it
doesn't
was the whole
speak
thing.
the same language at all.
Um,
They're like a Scandinavian group, basically.
Yeah, so they all show up and start helping make toys, and Klaus is making toys. The teacher shows up, and she is helping too.
Meanwhile, the elders they found a way they discover the little thermometer thing that Jesper has on his wall for when he's done his 6,000th letter. So they realize, wait, so if he sends 6,000 letters, we can get rid of him and put an end to this whole thing, and we can get back to fighting. So they start writing a bunch of letters and stuff for Jesper to send. And sure enough, just as they're getting ready for the big Christmas delivery, Jesper's dad shows up. He's like, congratulations, son. I'm proud of you. You sent 6,000 letters just as we agreed. Now you can come on home back to your life of comfort. And Jesper's like, oh, shoot. I kind of like it here now, but I guess I'm going home. And, of course, it's the third act
typical
breakup.
third act breakup. Yeah.
So, what's the gal's name? Oh, at this point, Alva, I think, right?
The teacher?
Alva,
Yeah,
the teacher.
Alva.
Alva and Jesper have kind of fallen in love, and Klaus and him are good friends. But he's never really revealed to Klaus like his motivation for doing all this. And so the third act breakup happens, and just as they're about to leave on the ferry,
Jesper talks to his dad about how he feels about Spearensburg, because like the ferryman was like, "This is the first time I've seen someone sad to leave Spearensburg."
and so his dad says, I'm proud of you. You've of course lets him stay. So he rushes back because he finds out the elders are trying to destroy the toy shipment and ruin Christmas.
There's a whole chase sequence with the sleigh and the packages and the reindeers and stuff.
And through it all, like Jesper demonstrates that he, is truly committed and not just about his scheme anymore. Proves it to Klaus. And then it turns out that the sleigh full of toys that went over the cliff was just a decoy, and so they're still able to bring all the toys to kids, and it's all hunky dory. Christmas is saved. It's a Christmas movie. You got to save Christmas. So yeah, and then from there things are just kind of happily ever after. Like the
Klaus
operation
keeps
continues
doing
year
his
to year.
thing every year at Christmas, and the Jesper has a little family, and it's just
Time goes on. Klaus ages and eventually passes away. Goes to see his wife again, and in a very beautiful Ugoy scene.
kind of a mystical crossing over kind of a thing, where it's
Yeah.
like, no one saw a trace of him. Where is he now? And every year I get to see my friend at Christmas because it's Santa Claus.
Why is he Alec Guinness all of a sudden?
I don't know why he's Alec Guinness.
Of course
yeah,
I know.
and so now though,
He's me.
like in sort of like a mystical element, Jesper tells the audience, like, yeah, I see every year on Christmas Eve I get to see my friend again, because he just like Klaus keeps like
Doing the Santa thing.
doing the Santa thing.
The toys keep showing up.
So yeah,
So that's Klaus.
really good movie.
Yeah,
I like it a lot.
yeah. So I guess we can go there into what we like
Into
about
the
it.
cool stuff.
Yeah, cool stuff.
Cool stuff.
It was kind of I'd heard good things about it before I watched it. I watched it a few years ago. for the
Yeah, I
first
think
time.
it came out in 2018
19, yeah.
or 2019. You
Yeah,
said?
right,
Okay.
right around when I graduated college. Yeah.
Okay, but we watched it in 2021. I remember because that was the
When you
winter I
had
had pneumonia.
You had pneumonia and I had COVID, and we were stuck in our house and needed stuff to do.
So we watched that, and it was a good time.
You can probably go back and listen to whatever episode that was and have us talk about, yeah, Klaus is pretty cool, more than likely.
It was a thing that happened, I guess,
Yeah.
or it was just me yelling or talking about how I was painful to play Spirit Tracks with pneumonia, and also how I had my COVID toes that still that still get cold faster than
Still?
the rest of my foot. Yeah.
Dang, that's why I forgot about that.
Like, for whatever reason, it did like nerve damage to my right foot, and I don't know.
Yeah.
But apparently, it's just a thing. Like I brought it up to the nurse, and it's like, "Oh, yep, that's a thing." And I'm like, "What doesn't COVID do?"
Yeah.
Like you look up the symptoms of COVID on WebMD, and it's like, yes.
yeah. So yeah, that's about the time frame we watched it the first time. Really enjoyed it then, and then really enjoyed it again on the
Holds
rewatch.
up on a rewatch.
More recently. Riley, what did you think seeing it for the first time?
I was very impressed by it. It
Mhm.
was a remix of the classic Santa Claus formula. You know, save Christmas, introducing how Santa Claus came to be Santa Claus.
And there wasn't too much of you know,
yeah.
there wasn't too much of that. Like, it was there, but it wasn't like blatantly like in your face about
They
it.
worked it in
It was
ways
diegetic.
that made sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I was very impressed that they made an effort to preserve the mystical aspect of Santa Claus, because they left this very, temporal explanation, and they're like, yeah, you can explain away Santa Claus. This is exactly how they're doing it. Jesper is
And
real.
it's not a historical critical method of explaining away Santa Claus. It's like here's a fun story about how it came to be, you know. Yeah.
With a few little interesting things like Christmas predating Santa Claus.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Which
kind
it
of
did.
yeah.
Which it did.
Yeah.
It did. Yeah, so good.
It's
good
just
on
not
'em.
usually a detail you see them
Yeah.
go for in those. So
Yeah, it's just like Christmas is already an established thing. And perhaps even I didn't quite gather, but I think the idea of gift giving was also like already a pre-established thing.
I mean,
for Christmas.
yeah, people get. I don't know if it was like
a gift giving
I don't think they really
for
d-
Christmas.
I don't really think they touched on.
he was
that.
just like, hey, what if we save it up for Christmas? It's a big holiday, and it'll just make it even more magical when you deliver gifts.
Mhm.
Whether other people exchange gifts is kind of whatever. It's not a detail they go into.
Yeah,
But
because the parents couldn't do it all in one night.
no, of course not.
But yeah, no,
I really liked how the postman is a facilitator of communication
Mhm.
between
And
the disparate
community.
groups in the town. Well, that is essentially what
Yeah.
communication is.
Right,
Because you got
To-
and you see it bear fruit. Kind of
to
almost in spite of him
communicate.
at first.
Is to reveal oneself and to receive another.
Mhm.
and
Communing.
in this scenario in this town, you've got the two families who are very isolated from each other, and then Klaus up on the hill who is very isolated from everybody else, for all their own various reasons, right? Obviously, for the families, it's their feud that's been going on since the cave painting in the one house, which is just a funny.
And for
visual.
Klaus, it's
For Klaus,
his
it's grief and
Yeah.
mourning, and just like his unfulfilled dreams of, like,
having a big happy family, lots of kids.
Right. The reason he made all those toys was in anticipation for all the kids they wanted to have but never could.
And the longer they waited, the more toys he made to kind of
Give himself something to do and something to hope for.
yeah. No, I've lost my train of thought.
But no, the whole keeping himself occupied.
Yeah. Yep.
And like it explained why he had a backlog of toys to give out. But also like that that desire to make children happy. That desire he wanted to have children, right? So he could fill their lives with good things and make them and
Share his life
share
with
his-
them.
Share his life and his love with them, right? And he eventually finds a way to do that through the children of Sperensburg by giving away everything he had hoarded and bottled up. He opened himself up to give to other people without expecting anything in return. And it was one little kid's drawing that moved him to it.
And one skinny postman who enabled him to do it.
Yeah.
Entirely on accident and maybe in protest, but still, the
But it
vehicle
happened all
for
the same.
communication.
Yeah. And yeah, like the whole like resolving of the blood feud or not blood feud, well, family feud thing. Steve Harvey. Man, we didn't have Steve Harvey in there. Missed opportunity, man.
Should have called Steve Harvey and
yeah.
had him on.
No, and if he went in, like I'm proud to announce the winner of this, Tim Allen. Or powerful performance by Tim Allen as Klaus. That's an old Steve Harvey reference, right there. What was that from? Like the Miss America or something? He called the wrong. Some sort of beauty pageant. He said the wrong person won. Yeah. Anyway, now I've explained.
I loved how the children became the vector through which the feud began to be resolved.
Mhm.
And like kids were just being kids with
Yeah.
each other. They had a toy and they're like, come look at my toy, come play with my toy. And
Mhm.
they just
sharing joy
uncomplicatedly shared joy in life with each other.
to the point where even the creepy Adam's Family girl was putting the nose on properly on a snowman.
Although still somewhat menacingly.
Yeah,
Right. You can do it correctly and menacingly.
that is such a great recurring bit in that movie.
And the kids' life rubs off on the adults because they're
Mhm.
like, they observe this kind of pure, innocent way of being and are like, they start to question, what the heck am I doing?
Mhm.
Like, I'm just gonna, fix up the clarinet and play it instead of beating up my neighbor across the trail.
I'm going to instead of build a big gnarly fence between me and my neighbor, I'm going to use the wood to build a playground for the kids to share. Or I'm gonna angrily bake a cake and make jam.
Your kids gave me berries. I can't just take this and accept the gift. So here's jam.
And I was like,
It's like,
I made a
I
cake.
can't just take jam from you. Here, have a pie.
Yep.
That was such a great little sequence where it's like out of spite trying to one up each other's niceness.
and then just it turns into genuine niceness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like that how it's a new generation with a fresh pair of eyes taking a look at their relationship with their neighbors, like this breaking
Instigated by a total outsider who didn't want to be there.
right. But it's like this, it's a generational hatred that's passed down, but like it's
Nobody knows why.
nobody knows why. It's just always been. It just is. It's tradition.
And they also leave, they don't ever tell you why. It's not
Yeah.
some kind
'Cause
of
it-
moralistic.
Even if you knew why, it wouldn't really matter. They would still just be at each other's throats.
And even if you did know why, it's so far in the
Doesn't even matter
past
how
that it's
hard
not
you try.
relevant to the
Keep that in
people
mind.
living
I just said
today.
this rhyme to remind myself. Well, and then at one point in the movie, Jesper's talking to Alva, and she's like, "Wait, you don't know what?" Like he's like, "Wow, like what a turnaround for the school! I can't believe you spent your savings." And she's like, "You don't know what you did for this place, did you?" And she takes him around town, and it's just like truly become like a very warm, welcoming, cozy, beautiful place. You know, they've got like this,
The color saturation is back. There's actually
there's warmth, there's candlelight, there's Christmas lights and decorations.
now the Christmas lights and decorations are on the giant whale skeleton out in the
Right.
harbor, but
Yeah, but they've managed to make their town beautiful and like a thriving community, just from like the avalanche he begun with his little snowball, basically.
and he didn't even start making snowball on purpose. He just kicked
Yeah.
the pebble.
Yep. Which kind of goes to show that, like, it's you can make, even with flawed motivation, there can still be a lot of good worked through somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of Jesper's character, which I suppose we can get into like the Transcendental Analysis.
Are we going to make a comparison against other
Yeah.
Santa Claus movies
Before we do a analysis about Klaus, we can talk about other Santa Claus movies.
Weirdly enough, a lot of the trappings of this film remind me of the 1970s Rankin Bass stop motion animated film.
Yeah.
Santa Claus is Coming to Town, because
With
you've
Mickey
got
Rooney and
you got this way up
Meisterburger.
you got this way up north town that's really cold and really gray, and it's got a grouchy old guy in charge that hates toys, and the love interest is a school teacher, and it's I don't know. It's just got a lot of these weird things that line up. Obviously, it's not perfect. There's no wizard who doesn't know how to walk.
Right. Yeah.
There's no penguin, but just funny enough. And also there's the mailman is a character in that short. He's like the narrator.
Is Jack Frost the one narrated by the groundhog?
Yes.
Okay.
I only ever watched that one in segments in the background
it was
at grandma's
years
house.
ago. Yeah, when I was very young. I only remember watching that once.
But that also has the whole his family makes toys and so he delivers the toys because they don't have any.
Yeah, in a very
And they're like, what is
that,
fun?
70s
What is a
or
play? Something like that.
yeah, just kind of cheesy, what you would
It's
expect.
charming and funny.
Yeah, it's charming.
I like it.
Burgermeister
But,
Meisterburger. And then
But also that would kind of also, I mean, there's magic in it, but it doesn't like leave with Santa Claus.
there's not much
like-
substance to it.
No, I mean that. I was actually kind of surprised Klaus had substance under the style, which there's a lot of style. But
Yeah. And then, of course, there's the aforementioned Tim Allen Santa Claus films, which are really stupid, but they're fun.
They're delightfully
mostly
stupid.
stupid.
They're mostly stupid. My mom can't stand the second one because something about Tim Allen and plastic makeup is just like it makes her
Yeah.
feel weird.
Yeah.
But like the toy Santa is my favorite part.
Can we
of the
talk about
second one?
Can we talk about the fact that like nobody really seems to care or notice that the old Santa is dead and not interested that this Tim Allen killed this Santa killed him and replaced him, and we're just cool with that.
I mean, they're Christmas elves. They're probably like functionally immortal.
Yeah.
Like they see.
But like it just turns back into a regular guy, right? Like when because it's just like a dude that becomes the Santa Claus.
right.
So who did that guy kill? And did he just become not Santa when he died? Like
Did
there
he
just
ascend
a body
to the
of
shard of Santa Claus?
this guy who's been missing for decades is just dead in his yard, and there's
No, he
investigation
disappeared.
whatsoever.
He became one with the Santa Force.
Right.
And
But,
so
like,
the Santa Force passed on to Tim Allen.
Right.
And now Tim Allen has like
but the vessel,
it's
the
all
mortal
for one.
vessel of
It's one for all.
the mortal vessel of the man's original state, dead in Tim Allen's front yard, with no consequence or reference ever again.
Christmas magic.
Yeah.
Christmas magic hid the body.
Take care of all kinds of problems.
We got our Christmas magic will make your problems go away like they
Yeah.
were never there.
Maybe the elves had like a cleanup crew, like in John Wick, where they just, they just.
You,
deal-
I mean-
you working again?
yeah.
I mean, like, in that first Santa Claus movie, they have that elf secret service that, like,
Yeah.
jetpacks out to
You know?
break Tim Allen out of jail.
That's probably
What
it.
were they doing the Christmas Eve prior? Maybe cleaning
Failing
up
their
a body.
job. That was a bigger scandal than current Secret Service failures of recent memory. Their guy, they just let him die on the job. The Elf Secret Service is.
They don't-
they don't care. Who's
Yeah,
Santa.
that's true.
Their job isn't to save his life. Their job is to clean up the
It's
body.
like the elf deep state, like they, they just facilitating North Pole regime change.
Bernard the head elf actually runs the joint.
Death by
Santa
Team
Claus is a
Tim Allen.
figurehead. Like he's like jolly and happy and looks good on a postcard, but like
Yeah.
the elves run the place up there
right, yeah,
with an iron fist. No,
Yes.
but no one questions.
no questions whatsoever. So I think the natural conclusion then for the sequel to the first two that I haven't seen is that Tim Allen's son has to kill him and ascend to be the Muad'Dib of the North Pole.
Martin Short time travels.
Okay, gotcha. What?
Yes.
Okay.
Martin Short plays Jack Frost, and they time travel back to the day Santa died, so that not to save Santa, but so that Martin Short, Jack Frost, can steal the coat and become Santa.
Is this Terminator?
Maybe.
Is this all for one?
It's
Jack
all for
Frost.
one, but Terminator.
All right. Well,
Put a pin in that for the episode title when we talk about the Tim Allen Santa Claus trilogy.
yeah.
When?
Yeah, 10 years from now.
Of course, when?
Yeah.
Gosh.
Other movies, not really Santa Claus movie per se, but I kind of like Elf. It doesn't really explain Santa Claus.
No, I mean it's got like the sleigh flies because of Christmas spirit, and so we have to have this jet engine on the bottom of the sleigh because Christmas spirit
And a
is
symbol
in
of
such short
modernity
supply.
because they don't believe in supernatural.
Christmas spirit is powered by avgas.
Yeah. Brought to you by Avgas.
Now although I haven't.
And we can't forget the Fred Savage one.
Holidays?
Holidays.
yes, of course.
All time best, obviously.
Naturally.
Can't be beat.
Yes.
Brought to you by Walmart and Campbell's Chicken Noodle Soup.
I homemade Campbell's chicken noodle soup.
That movie is just a collection of one-liners,
Mhm.
which is why I love it so much.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And Robbie the Reindeer, never watched it, but we're getting really off track.
All of the other reindeer.
Yeah.
Then of course
the
there's
dog that wants to be a reindeer and help save Christmas.
Mm.
then like just this year there's that one Christmas movie
If I
where
had a
J.K.
nickel-
Simmons plays Santa Claus.
If I had a nickel for every time J.K. Simmons played Santa Claus, I guess I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't that much, but it's weird that it happened twice.
Which obviously we now need to watch Red 1 because it's a sequel to Klaus.
Do we have to?
Well, it's in the same continuity. J.K. Simmons plays both. We had the
guess so.
full perspective on the story, right?
Dang. Huh. The J in J.K. Simmons apparently stands for jacked. But
no, that's our Santa tangent.
There was another.
Sangent, if you will.
Yeah. And then I have to mention, for a certain person in the other room's benefit, the old CCC cartoons.
The St. Nicholas one?
Yes, the St. Nicholas one. When my little brothers were little, so it's about Nicholas of Myra, right? Like the guy who became St. Nicholas and was Santa Claus loosely based off of him in real life. And my little brother, there's a part in the movie where the Romans are persecuting the Christians, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my little brothers are like, oh, we like war movies. Soldiers are good guys. Therefore, these Christians are the bad guys. So after they would watch this cartoon, they would tell us older siblings to get down, Christian. That was quite funny because they were like 2 and 3 years old.
And they like war movies at 2 and 3 years old. You guys are weird.
We am.
Is.
Yeah. So I had to squeeze that in there. And then there was sort of the Veggie Tales episode, which
There was it was a thing.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it it's been a while.
Years
It
ago.
was after my era of Veggie Tales,
Right.
frankly, which
Veggie
was like
Tales era's
it was
tour.
the era of decline as it rolled from the heights in the house.
when the Visigoths had began to invade Big Idea Studios.
Something like that.
Yeah. There's probably another movie I'm going to be like, I forgot about that one. But
Like there's no end to the Christmas movies.
no, there's
They're-
they're myriad.
Like
They
you
are
could spend
legion.
years
Yeah.
talking about Hallmark while also not talking about anything at all because there's no substance to them.
Oh, I cannot stomach Hallmark movies at all, especially not Christmas movies. Oh man. Anyway, all right, that's enough of a tangent. Transcendental Analysis. Oh yeah, like I think the whole point of that was to be like, okay, why do we like Klaus versus these others?
I mean, some of those other
Wh-
ones are
which
very
we
fun.
also like, but
those are really good.
What sets this one apart?
What sets this one apart is the sincerity.
It's sincere. It doesn't try to be cute or like, hey,
It's not
Santa
like-
Claus.
Coy.
It doesn't lampshade. It's not like
There's humor, but
there's
not
humor,
like,
obviously, but it's not making fun of Christmas or Santa Claus. It's not at the expense of it. It's sincere in the goodness and the human connection of Christmas, and like Santa Claus isn't the joke.
Mm-hmm.
This film isn't a joke about the origin of Santa Claus. It's not being funny about it. It's being sincere about what Santa Claus is about and what that, association with Christmas secularly is really about.
And it also touches on, in a like non-religious way, of course, but like the idea of a holiday, like a holy day, like something existing for the purpose of, like for the sake of the people who celebrate it, right? Like, because that's why the church made so many holy days. Was for the good of the
The people, the human
Yeah.
connection,
It was
the
very-
community,
very communal.
which that is what this film kind of zeroes in on and like throws respect at.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. It's true to the secular understanding of Christmas's like core,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
which is also like tangentially related to the Christian understanding of Christmas's core because it's
Yeah.
about gift and self-giving and then what
And the secular vision gets its vision from the Christian vision,
Yeah.
it's just
although it has left some of it behind.
yes, the Jesus part specifically.
Mm-hmm. So I guess from there we can. Yeah,
Can
'cause, like,
transcend.
yeah. Because like as opposed to pretty much all the other ones we mentioned,
Yeah,
are just kind of
like
fun, little Christmassy things, not really all that serious or sincere per se. Not
Or
like
su-
they're
or
insincere
substantive.
necessarily. Right? Yeah,
It's
not
like-
very substantive.
this film takes the there's the old glory to God, peace on earth, goodwill to men. This one focuses on the peace on earth, goodwill toward men,
Mm-hmm.
or without the glory to God part because
Right.
secularism.
But
But
even so, for what it's worth,
2/3 of the message, and it's a good 2/3 of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's good stuff.
get you somewhere. So yeah, I guess that's kind of gets us started on truth then. But yeah, truth. What truth can we find in Klaus? What? What?
This is like a Mexican stand. We're all just waiting for each other to talk
okay.
first.
I was like, what did I say? What did I say?
But then we're all going to talk at the same time. It's like, but it's just, no.
Yeah.
The truth bit is that communication, that one well the line where it's like one act of goodwill selflessly sparks another.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do you make change? By being the change you want to see.
Mm-hmm.
How
And it's not like
I'm
Jesper
starting
set out
with
to
the
do that.
man in the mirror. Always
Michael
back
Jackson,
to Michael
Michael
Jackson.
a continuation of a bit that we didn't do
Earlier today, yeah. But yeah, no, and like it's not even as if like Jesper intentionally has set out to change the world. He was just trying to,
He was trying to do nothing of the sort.
yeah,
He was only interested in his own
yeah.
goals.
But yet he's still inspired by the end of the movie to be a selfless person.
by seeing everyone else's
Yeah,
act
those
of-
all those selfless actions finally sparked an act in himself.
he may have accidentally been the facilitator of the initial act of selflessness,
But that's
and may
life,
have
though.
been pushed under threat to enact that
Right.
act of selfishness,
Right.
selflessness, I should say. But like by the end, he's actually affected by it.
To the point, he'd been living for himself. Now he's like a servant to the community. He's a respected, postman, and he starts a family and all this stuff. So he like takes it all very much to heart, and helps Klaus every year with their project until he passes on. And carries that with him, and
Infertility is hard.
yes, that was also the thing about this movie that I really
It
appreciated.
was just like, this is a guy that wants to have kids. There's a joy in fatherhood that he just desired, and his wife desired motherhood. But they suffered through not being able to, and that's tragic.
Yeah, which is honestly like a brilliant decision by the writers to do it, or like the way they did that.
And they addressed it like very tastefully, while also being very sincere about it.
And it's a great, perfectly believable reason for why Klaus is such a generous heart,
And why he made so many toys.
and why he's kind of withdrawn himself out from the world in his grief.
But also at the same time, his arc in the film is going from sad from not having the family, he not being able to make a family with his wife, to the joy of having a family by being adopted by a community and having all of the people around him be a source of joy. And
And an outlet for him to give himself away.
Yep. Yeah. And then we've talked about
'Cause, like,
Jesper
every-
coming around.
a lot of the characters in this film actually, like both Klaus and the teacher, are like
Alva.
Alva. Alva also is like genuinely has a passion for teaching, for nurturing, for
Yeah, he finds an old
being-
picture of her graduating. He's like, "What happened to you?"
it's the SpongeBob quote about
Yeah.
like, here's your ID from day one. What happened to you?
Yeah.
But she like has this period where she just can't scratch her. She doesn't have an outlet for her, like, desire to give of her knowledge and time to these kids. But eventually, through Jesper's accidental selfish intervention, she gets
Although
to...
I think he like sends the kids her way.
He does.
Because he's like, I think this is something.
You're the only primary character with color. Maybe are you love interest? Maybe
You are the other one in this movie with blonde hair.
Oh no.
Yeah.
But
Oh no.
but
It's not Argentina. We're fine.
it's not Montana. We're fine.
Anyway.
But like there's characters who suffer from a desire to give of themselves.
And don't have an outlet.
And if you look at the people in town, honestly, the way they take to being neighborly faster than you'd expect, it's like everyone desires community. Everyone wants family. That is a thing that the human person requires to function.
And I think another thing with Jesper's character too is that like when you are performing good deeds like that, it can't help but transform you if you allow it to. And by the end of the movie, he allows it to transform him. He's no longer simply doing this so he can get out of here and serve his selfish aims. He just gets drawn into the goodwill and the change he has made.
He was fake it till you make it to a point where you're not faking it anymore, and you don't realize with horror that, oh no, I love these people.
Yeah, because there's a few moments here and there where he's like, oh, wait, or he's like sad about the prospect of going home, and he realizes, like, wait, why am I sad? Like, what's going on? He sees the change in himself. Yeah. And so I think, like, although they're mad at him, like Klaus and Alva are mad at him at first for, like, leaving.
And less for leaving, more for like hiding his scheme and his motive from them.
But they're able to see, like, because they knew him, like, towards the end, like, he was starting to become more sincere and involved. And so, like, his, turnaround is more believable. Like, they're able to forgive him and accept him back again. So, any other things we can cover from...
For truth?
Yeah.
We kind of blended a lot of the goodness
Well,
into
the truth of this film is about goodness.
Yeah.
So moving on to
goodness,
like you've got Klaus's generosity and his desire to give, and Alva's desire to teach, and ultimately the redemption of Jesper. Like he started out as not good, but
Didn't
then
care
became a good.
selfish,
entitled,
entitled,
other than his
and
own
lazy.
Yeah.
And even like his father at the beginning, he wants his son to be a good person. He's pushed to an extreme, sending him to the Shadow Waffle House.
Yeah.
But the Waffle Realm.
Yeah. I think there's sort of an implied thing, whereas like he, wants to be a good father. So given his status, was able to give him a very comfortable life growing up. And he sees now that's backfired. He's an adult and unwilling to do anything for himself. So
And also gave him all the best opportunities he could. He gave him he got him into the academy. Probably didn't place at the academy. He just was placed there.
Yeah. He's like, I'm not going to let you fail out of this on purpose. Because it's clear that's what's happening.
And he wouldn't push him if he didn't believe he could change and become a better person, or at the very least didn't hope he could.
Yeah. And as a father, he's very proud of his son for making that change and even falling in love with the place and making it better.
Yeah, we don't get to see his conversation with his father because there's a whole fake out he left thing. But afterwards, when he's on the dock with
Talking to Margot.
with Margot, he talks at her less
they don't
to
speak the
her,
same language.
more at her. But he's like, yeah, my dad actually said he was proud of me. And I was like, oh, how often did you hear that, buddy? Good, you got that affirmation.
Yeah. And then we talked about Klaus and Alva being good, and the people of the town too, coming around. And,
Ultimately,
like we said, like we talked about, like the children kind of instigating that.
Oh, my kids.
Well, kids are just instigating these acts of goodwill.
I mean, like,
you know?
children, the children of this film have, like, the natural state is to be good. It's just adult things come in and complicate things.
Right.
You know? And so seeing the pure innocence of just wanting someone to play with your new toy frog with, and that being consistent in giving children opportunities to just be kids to and with one another
Yeah.
is good for them and good for everybody.
Yeah. Beauty.
We haven't mentioned it yet, but this
The
film
animation is fantastic.
it's immaculately animated.
They do a lot of great things. Like this movie made waves for it being a 2D animated film, but the shading was done such that people thought it was 3D.
Like, yeah, it was like there's also like 3D elements to it in the backgrounds
right.
and then like some of the props, but like all of the character art is 2D. Even when they're like doing the cool like turnarounds, like dynamic shots, it's all hand animated.
In an era where this sort of hand animated feature film is very rare,
Yeah.
it was very refreshing to see.
And the lighting is so just depthful and dynamic that you could have tricked me into thinking it was 3D. It's gorgeous.
Like just like the cold, like stolid tones of the beginning of the movie.
The storytelling through color.
Yeah.
It's-
Over time, it just becomes more and more warm and cozy winter, and like very.
It goes from cold, harsh winter to cozy winter.
Yeah, and very well done, like voice performances. I think it was J.K. Simmons is Klaus, and it's the first movie I'd watched where he wasn't screaming at somebody the whole time, or most of the time. He does yell a few times, but not.
Not for pictures of Spider-Man or about burning your house down with lemons.
Yep.
Or about my tempo.
Yep. I think somebody did like superimpose like
Think, Jesper, think!
whiplash lines in there. Yeah. Or, wanting to be, dominate humanity by taking over the world and all that. So yeah, J.K. Simmons, good performance. And then I think his, what's his name? Jason Schwartzman is Jesper.
What do I know him from?
He's the dad in Asteroid City / The Spot.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah, in
Into
Across
the
the
Spider-Verse.
Spider-Verse. Right?
Yeah, Across, yes.
Yeah, Across the Spider-Verse. So he's
Okay.
been around.
Like, all the voice performances are good. Like, the elder of the Crom family, I'm like, oh, wait, yeah, that's the same lady who does Jessie.
Yeah, she does Jessie, and she
From
is
Toy Story, that is.
the duck from Chicken Little, and
Oh, yeah.
the principal from Schoolhouse Rock. Or not Schoolhouse Rock.
School of Rock?
School of Rock, yes.
They're different from Schoolhouse Rock.
Right, yes.
There's
One's
less
about,
conjunction junction, more Jack Black.
Yep, exactly. So, and then what's her face was the lady from Parks and Rec was Alva.
Oh, okay.
Amy Poehler.
No,
Tina Fey.
no, it was she was also in The Office. Why am I
Okay.
blanking on her name?
It's the same picture.
No, that's Jenna Fisher.
Oh, okay.
Now I have to look this up.
Oh no.
Jamie
I don't
Poehler.
have to, but I'm going to.
For your own satisfaction, you have to. It's
gonna
like,
be like,
you're gonna
yes,
be
of
kicking
course.
yourself the entire rest of the day.
Directed by Sergio Pablos.
Oh, did a good job.
Who also did Despicable Me, like the original.
Huh.
And Rio. Wow. Anyway. Come on. This is content, ladies and gentlemen.
So riveting.
Yes.
The most engaging content.
Rashida
on-
Jones, that's who it was.
There you go.
And the aforementioned Norm MacDonald, which I think this was one of the last projects he did before he passed away.
Oh.
Like, not like, I think it was like a year or two, like a release a year or two
Sure.
before he died. But
But yeah, animation stellar, voice
yeah.
cast stellar. The one thing is like the
music gets a little poppy at times.
The music
but
gets a little poppy
it's
at
okay.
times, and like, that's 2019 for you.
I could look past it. It wasn't obnoxious.
No, at least it wasn't like incessant. It was just like a couple of montages.
Yeah.
Relatively short-lived.
Yeah. Also, like, the characters are great. I like the character design and stuff. I'm pretty sure the one girl stabbing the snowman with carrots was basically just straight up like Wednesday Addams that they dropped in there, more or less. But yeah, like all the character designs are great, and then
Very distinctive. Very like Klaus kind of built like Kingpin.
Yep. Big boy.
Just big and square.
Yep. Like the classic gentle giant archetype. And there's like the Sami people, like the Scandinavian tribe people that show up. Margu, the little girl that Jesper can't understand, but he still has heart starts with her and like sorts through stuff while she's listening. I like Googled the translation of what she's saying in the movie, and it's a lot of like, "Hey, can I have a toy, please? You don't understand what I'm saying, do you?"
And the fact that they just use the language accurately. It was like, oh, cool. They didn't just make up gibberish.
It's such an obscure like thing, but
which is
neat.
Why they picked that obscure.
And they also like give Klaus his classic red outfit, because that's kind of their bright, colorful.
Yeah, they're all out in the snow, but they're
culture.
like blue and red and like vibrant colors.
Yeah, that was kind of fun. And they travel via sleigh, so they introduced Klaus to that because the old postman's wagon broke down.
Yeah, they had converted the wagon to a sleigh, and then when
they caught some reindeer and
after the load got too big for the one mule.
Yeah.
Right?
So little things like that. And then unity, what brings it all together? Community.
Communication.
Communion. Yeah. Yeah, I don't really think there's what else to say about that.
We have well established our point on.
We've expounded upon that.
Yeah, and this film does a good job of it.
Yeah. Well,
like, if depending on when this comes out, there's still time to watch it before Christmas. Actually, there's always time to watch it before Christmas.
Probably.
Because after Christmas, it's before Christmas.
I have a confession. I haven't seen Muppets Christmas Carol yet this year.
I apologize for watching it without you.
Yeah, bummer. But I'll get it done. Don't worry. Even if it means on Christmas Eve, I'll get it watched.
Well, then it's actually one more sleep till Christmas.
All right. Time to wrap
Full
this thing
circle.
up here. So, Merry Christmas, everybody. Episode 150, all in one go. We got the Christmas special and episode 150 all done.
Let's go.
So, you can, we got a special project coming up that John will especially be excited
It's
about.
exciting.
You're gonna love it,
It'll be
John.
great. It'll be so good.
Yeah.
You've been waiting for it.
You've been
so
asking
long.
for a while, and we're going to deliver. So, you can follow us at Palladian Papist if I ever post something again on Twitter and Facebook, and then YouTube as well. We have the Palladian Papist YouTube channel. You can watch some like our podcast episodes, backlog episodes, and then some of the Twilight Princess playthrough that I once again fell off the wagon because I was playing God of War and haven't gotten back on the saddle yet with that. But eventually I'll finish all those edits.
You didn't get on the saddle again? Did Ilya steal your horse?
And you can also we're on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
If you're listening to us or watching us, we're there.
Yeah.
That's where
Obviously.
we are.
Otherwise, how
Could you be?
How are you like? Did you go directly to the Internet Archive?
Yeah. Which
Hello, Internet Archive listeners.
yeah, if you're there.
Are
have
you
no way of
there?
knowing.
If you're there, you intimidate me.
Our Spotify Wrapped for the podcast was telling us we had like what was a 17% increase in listeners this year.
So thank
Thanks
you
for
for
listening.
the two of you.
All right. I'll talk to you guys in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.